Good morning, good morning. I'm getting the hang of these lives. I don't know if you guys follow Bugenhagen, Sticky Ricky, but I heard a video from him the other day talking about how when he started doing his lives, his channel basically plummeted and the algorithm kind of left him and all this stuff. So I was kind of in two minds this morning to actually start another channel where I just do these lives. I don't know, like a part of me is thinking to myself, like, there's so many, ciao, kako si, man. Iz Krajine, iz Petrinje sam ja, man. I was wondering whether I should just start like a dedicated channel for lives, because as it is, man, I have like freaking over 1,000 videos on this channel. So I was thinking, like, do I do that? Do I not do that? I was Googling, back and forth, back and forth. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I, you're a Boog fan? Yeah, I like Boogs, man. Boog is one of those dudes that he's just stayed true to himself, and I love that. I love that about him. He's passionate about this thing is like me. I feel like I resonate with him. And in one of his videos, he was saying how the channel not died, but like he took a hit. Probably like 2 months ago, he was doing these lives, and I was watching some of his lives, and I like quite enjoyed it. Like it was like really cool. His energy is really cool and stuff, and anyway, he said that in the video, and since then, basically, he hasn't uploaded any lives, and I'm like, damn. I wonder what will happen to my channel if I continue doing these lives, because ultimately speaking, the analytics on each of these videos is really, really bad. Like, it's like really, really bad. But anyway, like whatever. All of that aside, like I'm gonna do what kind of makes me feel good and stuff, and this is really good. But for some reason, YouTube like really, really hammers you for it. Like really, really hammers you for it. I don't know why that is. Oh, the reason why it hurts the channel is because there's all these analytics which you kind of learn as you go along. So there's a thing called the click-through rate, which is the rate of people clicking on the video when they see it. So like say 10 people see the thing in their feed and only one clicks it, well, that's like a 10% click-through rate, which is excellent, right? But when people see like a really, really long video, they're less likely to click it. And so when you have an hour-long live, the chances of people clicking on a video to watch an hour is very, very small. So that's one thing. And the other thing is watch through rate. How much of the video are people watching? So most people like watch 4 minutes, even if I like upload a 3-hour video, which I don't do, people usually watch like maybe 6 minutes, 4 minutes, something like that. And so those are really, really bad rates. Whereas if you upload a 5-minute video and people watch 2 minutes, then the percentages are much better. And so in the algorithm world, in the YouTube world, those couple of stats really, really rack up against you, and they really kind of like, it's like a vital sign for them, kind of like a blood pressure or a pulse or a temperature of how healthy the channel is. And when you start kind of racking up videos like that back to back to back to back, the algorithm is like, oh, people hate this video, and they kind of stop showing it to people, and ultimately your revenue gets hurt, and then ultimately you have less and less time to make the videos and dedicate the time, and eventually if everyone stops watching, then you have no revenue coming in at all, and you have no support to do the passion that you want to do. And that's how kind of people go out of business. Anyway, like some people treat this as a hobby, have like a job, and this is kind of like me. I have a main job where I get 99% of my income from nursing. This is kind of like a little cherry on top. But some people transition from, let's say, nursing to this more and more, and maybe they're 50-50. And if the algorithm turns their back on them, it really, really hurts the revenue, and then they have to go back to the primary job. So it's like, it's almost like the boss is paying you half of the money. So I don't know, whatever. It's just one of those things that maybe the viewer is not aware of, but I don't want to say money rules all, but like, you know, we all gotta eat. And you know, when Boog said like, you know, I can't do this anymore, like basically the channel is, I'm getting punished for it. I kind of was sad to see it. Like even me, like when he uploads, like I don't watch an hour of his stuff. So I even heard him probably, you know, whatever. For me, it's like this. For me, the way I look at it is like, it's like I like doing it. Like for instance, today, you know, like I've got a day off work. Kids are at school. Wife's busy with her stuff. I'm gonna eat. I'm sitting down to eat this like stir fry. Do I just eat it by myself, or you know? That's kind of how I kind of processed it. That's how I kind of came to be. It's just like a really cool way to spend my time. What am I doing here? How do I get on the freaking live? What is going on here? Jesus Christ. I can't even log on to my own live. I'm trying to go back into this video, this live, so I can see your comments because the screen's too small. I can't see anything. Viewing live control room. What is that? Oh man, the glare is so bad here. Can I have it? Pop-up chat. That's what I want. Here we go. We're getting closer. Oh man. Ooh, okay. So when I'm in YouTube Studio, it's a black background. That's kind of cool. Oh man, I already missed so many comments. Do I want to go back to school for NP in emergency? Thought about it back in the day. Not now. Kids are too young. A lot going on in life. Maybe down the track, but not at the moment. I don't have the time. I don't know about you guys, man, but like stir fry, this stuff here, this, alright, is the easiest for me like to eat. I don't know why. Heaps of veggies, rice, chicken, love it. Bloody love it. Nikola Jokic is the best player in my opinion at the moment. Oh yeah, kimchi, yeah. You know, some foods go down really well. Like for instance, like I'm not a big fan of salads. I don't know, I'm weird like that. Like, say you have like a hot meal, and then you have a cold salad. For some reason, that to me is a conflict. I don't like putting in different temperatures in my mouth. I don't know. Like I remember 10 years ago, I had a couple of bad teeth before I had them fixed, and so like if I went from warm food to like a cold salad, it would just like exacerbate the pain. And so since then, I've kind of gone away. Like I like one temperature. And so like stir fries, right? Like all of these veggies have been cooked with each other, with the meat and whatever, and it's all one temperature. I can just down like anything, you know. It's weird how we all have our little preferences when it comes to food, textures, and it's not just taste. It's the textures. It's the it's weird. Kefir is amazing, man. Kefir is really good. Which English team? I don't really follow a team. Never been that kind of a guy. I follow like players, right? So back in the day when Nemanja Vidic was playing, I loved Man U. I love watching them. You know, Serbian dude. Who else? I don't know. Obviously Ronaldo, Messi, these type of like characters. You know, I keep in touch with the best. Um, but you know, I remember back in 2010, like you know, Tiki Taka Barca. To me, that was like Barca back then was exactly what I was trying to do in FIFA when I was playing FIFA, like the video game, right? Like tiki taka, pass, and then pass it into the goal. And so like I was like really, really amazed by that team, the Barcelona team with the tiki taka and Xavi, Iniesta, you know, Deco, you know, back in the day, and you know, Messi obviously being the cornerstone, but uh you know, that's kind of like how I go where the play style is. Like for example, like Denver Nuggets right now, like I love how they play. You know, high post, pick and roll, back cuts, passing. That's what I love. You know. Mm. Alexander Kolarov, yeah, he was a gun, absolute gun. Serbia and Croatia and Bosnia, ex-Yugoslavia, has produced so many freaking players, man. So many superstars. You know, I've always said it like, if Yugoslavia stayed in one piece, man, I reckon Yugoslavia would have been like, I don't know, easily a top 5 soccer nation in the world. The amount of talent that comes out of that region of the world, man, is incredible, man. Incredible. Yeah, Ibrahimovic, right? Like, Zlatan Ibrahimovic is like a complete forward, absolutely complete forward. The only trouble with people from that region of the world is that we're very, very hot-headed. We have like a low freaking fuse, small fuse, and teamwork can be a problem. I remember watching the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup. Was it last year? The year before? When was it? Uh, I'm watching the Serbians play, man. You know, some of those matches, there's not a lot of crowd, right? I'm sitting there, I'm listening to the chitter chatter on TV. Man, like, you know, I can lip read. These boys are talking to each other like they're freaking drunk on the street. Mamu ti jebem, basi loptu bre. Like that to each other. I'm like, God damn, like, what? You know, stop with the abuse, man. Mitrovic, I was like, Mitrovic is like one of the best strikers out of Serbia right now. Like, you know, his aggression is incredible. Like, he's a very, very good guy, like, whatever. But like a few passes, like Tadic would like pass him the ball or whatever. Like, there was a stuff up, you know, breakdown of the play, and then like just go freaking insane, yelling at the guy like, "Mamu ti jebem," you know. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like, you never see Australians do that. You never see like other countries do that. What the hell are you doing? This guy's sending his mum to hell and back for a bad pass. So then obviously the other guys, they're like, "No," you know. It's just, to be honest with you, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed. These guys are multi-millionaire soccer players. If they just work together a little bit better, man, like, it would be such a better thing. But like, you know, if you get sprayed every single time you make a bad pass, if your teammate freaking sprays you, you know, fuck that. Like, I'm not gonna run back and pressure the ball and do that. I don't know. That's the weakness of that part of the world. Everyone's freaking hot-headed. Nobody wants to listen. Everyone's an Einstein, you know. You think Yugoslavia would have won a World Cup by now? I think so too. If they could kind of like have like a really solid coach who would like cut this shit out, the maturity. Uh, let me get you guys to watch the stir fry disappear. Heel elevated squats. Yeah, they're fine, man. You just gotta find what works for you. What makes your body feel good. Can I put on a t-shirt? I don't train my neck, no. This is very good, man. She made this last night, and I had like a massive plate of that last night because I came off a night shift yesterday morning, or yesterday morning. Slept for like 4.5, 5 hours. Trained. Friend came over, messed around, so I hadn't eaten for like hours on end. And then I had a big bowl of this, man. My blood pressure dropped so bad, man. I was in bed by like 9:30, I think we were. I was out. Usually the kids go around 9:30, and I, go in the bedroom with them and tell them a story and all this stuff. And by then I'm out. So yeah, this is the second meal in a row that I'm eating this, and I love this stuff. I could eat this stuff all the time. I'm a big fan of rice, man. Big fan. What made me go live? Usually when I eat alone, I'll put on like a podcast or something or whatever. And I thought, why don't I put on a live and chill out with the fellas? I enjoy it. I really do. I really enjoy these lives. Like I mentioned before, they kind of kill your channel. But whatever, man. It is what it is. Follow the heart. That's the key. If you like doing this stuff, do it. Hey, Miz. Why, man? And also, I don't think I've gone live at 9 a.m. for a long time. Usually I go live like when it's nighttime here. So I think in America, in West Coast right now, it's I can't remember now. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something. I'm in Australia, Adelaide. Are you from Cali? Are you from the West? Oh, 5 p.m. in Dallas. Okay. Okay. It's amazing how huge America is, man. You see these freaking time differences. It's crazy. Same country, but like huge difference in time. America, man. Massive. I mean, Australia's, big as well and stuff, but Australia has 20 million people, man. Not a lot of population. Las Vegas. Maybe one day, man, I'll go to America and I'll check it all out. I think it'll be really cool to check out. Like ever since I was a little boy, man, I followed the NBA, and the NBA was kind of like the drawing factor to America for me. So like through Allen Iverson, through Shaq, Kobe, and all that, I kind of learned the culture, and that was kind of the attraction for me. Day to day, like every single day, I'm kind of like learning the cities, learning the conferences, learning the all that stuff. It would be really cool to go to an NBA game one day. Yeah, that's right. I don't know how long the flight would be from here to America. Like a day worth of flying, probably. Yeah, Jason Kidd as well. I remember Jason Kidd, Vince Carter, running the break, Richard Jefferson, Kenyon Martin. Some good memories, man. New Jersey. Thank you, Will, man. I appreciate that. The trouble is like, where do you go in America, man? You basically need like a month to like see anything, You would need to like, this is the thing about traveling, man. You go to a place, you don't even see it. Mansfield Town. Yeah. That's in the UK, right? Mansfield Town. I reckon. Isn't there like a? Yeah, there is. I remember in FIFA. Was it in FIFA? Like the bottom division team, the bottom division in FIFA. I think there was a team called Mansfield or something like that. This is how I usually play FIFA, man. I would go to the bottom division of the in England, and I would pick the worst team, the worst league, worst team, and then I would start my career with that. And I would try, like road to glory type thing. Man, the amount of hours I spent playing that game. Fourth tier, yeah. Love it. It's just stir fry, man. Whole stack of veggies, chicken, rice. No, it's good. Ah. See? There's Mansfield in America as well. Oh, dude, if I went to the NBA, if I went to a game, I would definitely have to like record that somehow and, you know. What would I ask Lasha if I had the chance? Never thought about that. It's hard. I'd love to sit down with him and actually talk lifting. But as for a question, I don't know. I don't know. There's not just one thing. I would sit down and like talk, over a beer kind of thing, Talk training, talk injuries, talk progression. Talk about like what other things he does other than what we see. Because that's the thing, man. Like, there's a lot more that goes on with these athletes behind the scenes than what we know. And I'm not talking about the drugs or whatever, all that shit. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the mobility, the prehab, rehab, all that stuff that makes them come back and be able to handle more volume. If you just warm up, squat, cool down, and go home, and you forget about it, I think there's much more to it. So I would love to ask him about those types of things. Yeah, I think by the time I decide to travel like that, I think Squat Every Day will be finished. And that chapter of my life will be done, and it will be a different time. It's only a matter of time, man. Like, as soon as the kids start to grow up a little bit, I mean, very, very busy. Got babies in home and stuff like that. But as soon as they're a little bit older, we're gonna be traveling. We're gonna be, running around. So this is a limited. There's expiry date on this journey for sure. Which is fine, Like even if it ends today, I'm happy. That's what life is. You never know what's happening. Oh, it's hard for me to say the difference between here and there. I was a kid in Yugoslavia, so I didn't really, my memory of that is very, very skewed. But I'd love to go back and see now as an adult, so I have some sort of like understanding what life actually is. But then even then, what life is in Yugoslavia now, yeah, It's completely changed probably to what I remember it in the 90s. How you going, Oleg? Hawaii, man. Rama, Argentina. Thank you, Naz. Oh, injuries, man. Yeah. Can't see the rest of the thing. Yeah, injuries are, they're the worst, man. They test you like anything. There's no one size fits all type thing. You just have to persist, man. I've had long stretches, as you guys know, of where I've come in. My heart wants to squat hard, but I can't. You know, as soon as I get above 60, 70%, the hip starts to flare up. You know, it's tough. It's tough when you want to train, but you can't. So you tiptoe around training for a long time. It's tough. You know, there's no special thing I can tell you other than you just have to persist. You will test your character. You will test everything. This is why a lot of people just end up quitting. You quit. I saw a guy at work the other day. I took somebody to ICU from ED in the middle of the night, and dropped him off, handed over. And I was taking my equipment out of that room, and I'm kind of walking through ICU, going out, and I saw one of the fellas there. They used to kind of relieve in ED. I hadn't seen him for a little while. So we got chatting. He's like, "How's training going?" I'm like, "Yeah, good. How's yours?" "Yeah, good." Blah blah blah. You know, he squats, he trains, and whatever. And he's like, "You know, what's the latest, man? Like, what's the latest thing with you?" And I'm like, can't remember how we got to it, but I kind of mentioned that my one of my best mates, he actually, you guys know, the cameraman. His second son turned 2 5 days ago, and I kind of mentioned to him, like, he turned 2. When he was born 2 years ago was the last time I set a deadlift PR, right? So 2 years have gone by, I haven't done anything in the deadlift. And I'm saying to the guy in ICU, I'm like, that's training, man. Like, I've gone 2 years without freaking doing anything on the PR. And he's like, yeah, I know. Like, he's like, I've plateaued for a very long time as well. So it's like, you're training for 5 years and then you hit this hard plateau. And what do? Like, you try all these different things. You don't go anywhere. So a lot of people just quit. You know, you save yourself the embarrassment in front of yourself, in front of other people. You know, it's hard to work that crap out, right? So people quit. You know, I've told you another story in the past of a mate that I didn't see for a number of years. He came down from Sydney and we started chatting, and he was like, you know, how's your training? This is like some 5-6 years ago, or maybe even less, 4 years ago. And I was like, yeah, it's going good. I'm still going at it. And he's like, I can't believe you're still going at it. He stopped training. He's telling me why he stopped. And he basically said, it's a really, really poor return on your investment. And I was like, oh, why is that? He's like, well, think about it. If you spend 5 years in any other discipline, let's say you're learning how to play guitar, piano, or you're learning how to do whatever else, anything else, into your business, into your career, if you spend that much time extra, that time that you spent in the gym, if you spent in anything in other areas, you would have a better return. And it kind of like, I remember, like, it's been resonating with me for a number of years, and I've thought about it a lot. You know, this training business, man, we spend so much freaking time in this stuff, and it seems like it's such a poor return. It's such a poor return because, well, like the professionals, they spend like 5 years training to put on a few kilos, right? That's a professional with excellent genetics, all that stuff. And then there's me, who's trained a long time as well, and you struggle to kind of get over some of these hurdles. You're kind of working it out, you're trying to figure this out, try that, try this, try that. All of a sudden, another year's gone by. And so a lot of people are like, you know, screw that. Like, I can't be bothered, you know, putting up with this. Someone's gonna quit. And so a lot of people quit. But I can't quit. I can't quit because I love it. And when you finally break through these hurdles, these plateaus, it feels so good only because the struggle was great. And that's what I love it. That's why I love it. It's like this delayed gratification. That's what weights and training teach you. It's like a really, really delayed gratification system. You're putting in work now and you're not gonna see shit for a long time. But then when you finally see it, it's like glory. It's absolutely amazing. Hmm. Wow, you improved your squat 60 kilos? Whoa. It doesn't look like you need any advice from me, dude. If your squat went up 60 kilos in 2 months, man, do whatever you were doing, man. Don't change a damn thing. Do I chew fast, do I? I've never been told that. Weightlifting, I'm doing it once a week now. Once a week is what I'll do, power cleans. I'll spend 30 minutes, 40 minutes on it once a week. I'll do that so I can fit in the GHD, the deadlifts, the sumos, all that stuff. But I'm doing it once a week. Hey Jane, how are you, dude? I like calisthenics. I like it. I'm struggling with this now. I think this is it. One more mouthful. I don't have a meal plan. No, I just roll with it. Eating in a sauna, yeah. That's one way to look at it. It's hot in here, this back room of the house. It's oh man. Oh, the brand of the bar is it's not a crazy. I think it's just an Australian brand. It's called TWL. It's actually a local place here that distributes it. So like shipping was really cheap. TWL means the Wad Life. I think that's the company's name. From that company, I bought the upright squat stands. It's a CrossFit up joint. That bar cost me, I think it was $200. And from what I read, had pretty good reviews, pretty good spin, good what's it called? Bar, flex, whip. And it was rated to like very good weight. So I know there's brands out there that are like amazing for ollie lifting or whatever, but I didn't want to get something that's too expensive. I just want something to spin. Yeah, I thought it was a good price as well. I always feel fatigued, man. Always fatigued. When you work shift work, you're in this you're like dazed. You're always in like some sort of foggy type of thing, but you get used to after a little while. But I'm always transitioning from nights to days to lates to, yeah, you just kind of I use training to regulate my sleep, if you know what I mean. So like yesterday, right? I came off a night shift. Excellent day. That following day, it's an excellent day to do deadlifts because I need to kind of fall asleep again. So I woke up at 2 o'clock or 1:30 or whatever. Train at 3 or 2, whenever it was. So my idea is, okay, let's get really, really, really tired so I can fall asleep by 9:30, 10 o'clock. Whereas if I didn't have training and I just moped around the house, watched some TV, ate some food, did whatever, it would be very, very hard for me to fall back asleep again at an appropriate time. So then I would go into like midnight, maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and then it would be very, very hard for me to, go back into a normal schedule. But training is that stimulus that I can, on the fly. This is why I don't like training plans as such. I like to kind of do it on the fly. Okay, so I've come off a night shift. Okay, let's push it real hard here. Spend myself so I can fall asleep tonight. The weird thing is though, it's not so much that I'm tired after a night shift that day, it's the day after. So for instance, today for me is a bad day. I don't know why that is, but these days are usually the heaviest days. Like I feel weak, I'm tired, just feel shitty, feel shitty. And so on these days, I usually end up doing, I'm still gonna work up with 5s on the squat, and then do some like bicep curls or like some pronation, do something like that to kind of make it easier. Like for instance, like if right now it's 10 o'clock in the morning, if right now I'm thinking to myself, okay, later today I'm gonna have to go through hell. Let's say 5 sets of 5 on squats, heavy. I'll be like anxious because I'm not feeling great. But knowing that in an hour or 2 time, I'm gonna go into the garage and I'll just do some bicep curls. Yeah, I'll push the squats a little bit, but that's just 1 set of squats. Maybe get to 160 for a set of 5. And then straight after that, I'll just do some freaking easy bicep curls, and then that's it. That makes me feel good. So on days like this, the second day after nights, I take it easy, Ivan, why can't you hit chest, back, and biceps like a bodybuilder twice a week on top of squatting? So when you say that, I don't just squat. I have many different things that I do, right? It's not just squatting. There's also deadlifting. There's also benching. I don't do chest, I do benching. So like when you say, back, chest, biceps, all that stuff, I'm not training those muscles. I'm training movements. And it might seem like whatever, dude, it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. So on bench press day, I do bench press and I do something which, like another exercise that targets a weakness in the bench press. I don't train chest, just arbitrary any exercise to hit chest, do a couple of those and that's it. No. I am trying to get to 180 kilo bench press. So it's a different mindset. With squats, I squat, I don't do legs. I squat, and then I do a squat accessory or a warm up or something to prime me up. With the deadlift, okay, I'll struggle off the floor. What are the things associated with the deadlift? Okay, I need a strong upper back. Okay, so I need to do some rowing. So I'm not doing back, I'm doing specifically a movement which is gonna help me retract and depress. So this is where bodybuilding and powerlifting have a bit of a disconnect, because one is concerned about the performance, another one is concerned about the aesthetic kind of like look. That's kind of the little difference. Don't you like looking jacked though? I would love to be jacked, but it's not something that drives me. If you ask me right now, like, to keep it really simple, would you rather be really, really jacked or really, really strong? I would take really, really strong any day of the week. Do I want 20-inch arms, or do I want a 300-kilo deadlift? It's a no-brainer. Absolutely no-brainer. Why didn't you go down the route of messing with VBT? What's VBT? I don't know what VBT is. Dalibore, hvala ti. Pozdravi tebi, man. Velocity bar training. I haven't come across that before. I'm not sure what that means. Yeah, maybe it's that. I don't know. Since 140 you've been watching. I can't believe I'm going still either. Honestly, I never thought I would come this way, man. The original plan was to make it to 31 days. And here I am. It's funny how life works, man. I love it, dude. I don't know. I still to this day, ask myself why. The answer is I legit look forward to it every day. I legit look forward to it every day. Like right now, that's the best part of the day. That's kind of how I view it. I love it. I love the feeling. I love the sensation. I love the after training feeling. Like if somebody said to me, don't train for 3 days now, I'd be sad. I would be sad. I would be like, there's nothing to look forward to each day. It's not. My life is not that freaking grim. Like there's many things that I love, but this is kind of like another thing which I legit look forward to. I remember as a kid waking up in the morning and like, that run to the PlayStation, to the TV to turn it on to play the video game. That's kind of the feeling that I get with training now. Like I get excited to train. It's weird. Maybe I'm just crazy. I don't know. Borise, to sam ja, to je to. Skvotuje svaki dan, da. Jules been watching since 500 or 600. Yeah, it's a long time. How much did you increase your lifts from training 1400 days? Bench press went from, so day one of the squat everyday program, I was deconditioned, but the first day, you can see it was 160 kilos, I believe. And now, yeah, it was 160, I think. And now it's 212.5 kilos. Bench press went from 130 to 152. Deadlift went from 220 to 265. And then obviously there's other things like the cleans. I never cleaned it before, but my best clean now is 125 kilos power clean. I can't do a full clean. Overhead press is 85. What else is there? Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, Miss, that would be a good idea to do another blood test. To see what's going on. Actually, I was talking to a friend from work He's moved on. He doesn't work with us anymore. But like we were exchanging messages, and he was like, "Man, I did a blood test for the first time in like a decade." I'm like, "Yeah, man. Like before I did that blood test for day 1000, I reckon it was close to a decade for me as well." I think we need to do blood tests more often. It's funny, like I take liters of blood out of patients every week, but I never test mine. It's weird. It would be interesting. You know, it was a nice surprise for me to see that I have a higher testosterone count on the upper norm of the how do you say it? The upper level of normal. Well, I can't say that properly. So it was nice to see that. Everything else is fine. Nothing was untoward. Bilirubin for me is always kind of like just a little bit higher than normal, for whatever reason. But that's about it. Yeah, Aaron. This is how strength works, dude. Like 220 to 265 on a deadlift, it sounds like crazy increase. But I hit a period where I was onto something with the deadlift. Really was. Like, this is how it is. Like, strength goes like this, and then you take a step, and then you plateau again, you take a step. It's not like a linear thing. So as long as you stay with it, you will get to a period where you're gonna have like a little step, where you're gonna be like, worked it out, bang. So for me, on the deadlift, I worked out a few things that really catapulted me. Before, I used to just deadlift, and I would never think about the setup, what my shoulders were. I don't know if you guys remember me deadlifting before. Like, I wouldn't like exaggerate this. Like, I would lift my shoulders up and then clench them down hard, like as hard as possible. The moment I started like thinking about what my shoulders are doing in a deadlift, all of a sudden freaking the deadlift position, the off the ground strength went through the roof. So like that was like a huge thing for me. Also shifting the bar forward a little bit more. So I started with more kind of like inclined shin angle, not so vertical. Gave me a little bit of a pop off the ground, a little bit of a drive off the ground. And that, those two things allowed me to minimize the struggle of the floor for me, because that for me that's always been the limiting factor for me. So if I can kind of bias my body, my leverages in a way where I trade off some top end strength for bottom end strength, it will improve the lift overall. So setting the bar a little bit further closer to your toes rather than the middle of your foot is not a good idea, because it's increasing the angles of your lower back, and so it's not the greatest. But that little bit of like a centimeter or two makes the quads more engaged, and I can use that to get away from the poor leverages that I have for the deadlift, which is a small reach. Like, I don't have a good reach, and then I have these long legs. So these two things combined, like I'm freaking parallel with the floor with my back. So I need to kind of position myself in a way, and also turning my feet out a little bit this way to send my knees out a little bit. So it's kind of like you are, it's like a trade. And so I kind of worked some of those things out, and then from 220 to 265, Aaron, like I believe if you just keep at it, you'll kind of work things out. And now I'm also doing lots of rowing with the hope that I can improve, oh shit, what's this? Oh, that's from the table. Improve that depression and just like that feeling. And I think this is a really good idea. Like, before you deadlift, get an empty bar and just do some rowing, just to get a little bit of blood, so you have more of a connection of like lowering this. Especially for me, with short arms, like the lower I can get my shoulders down, the more reach I have. So it's kind of like that, man. So just stay with it, man. You'll see, like, maybe you'll have the same kind of experience. You go from 220 and then boom, before you know it, you hit 240 and you're like, holy shit, what happened there? But it's just a minute kind of change in positioning, and maybe a little bit of strength in an area where you don't think you need it, and all of a sudden, bang. And that's what training is, man. You kind of beat around the bush until the cows come home, and then eventually you hit something that works for you, and then boom, you progress. You have to kind of ride the bad times, I guess, you know. Yeah, you've got the long legs and short arms. What's yeah, that's right. Yeah. Like yesterday I did that pull, the 240. I pulled 240. And it was shit, man. Like, yeah. After I sat down, I'm looking at it, I'm like, God damn. Like the moment I started lifting, what happened? Shoulders round forward. That's shit. You know, so I'm not strong enough to keep the shoulders down. Like, so as soon as I started pulling, like I've got plenty of power in my legs, my ass, but as soon as I started lifting, they just unzip, just roll forward. And once you do that, you're fucked. Like you're dealing with such much poorer leverages, and you're screwed. Like you're behind it, you know. And then you're pulling with this bad position. Obviously, deadlifts are always gonna kind of do a little bit of that for you, but if you can resist it a little bit, that's why when you see these big deadlifters, man, they have huge freaking upper backs, man, and it's purely just to keep the shoulders down. That's what the whole thing is about. Obviously, there's guys who have super freaking long arms, and those guys don't tend to have, or whatever, less requirement for upper back. But if you have short arms, you're gonna have to put on freaking mass on the upper back. And squat RX, he's been telling me this for freaking years. He's been telling me hit the back, and you know, I had a few periods of hitting the back with rows and pull-ups, but now I'm kind of really convinced that I need to do that. And I need to sacrifice some deadlift volume and maybe even some squatting volume. I don't know. Like I'll see. I'll progress it. I've kind of been hitting it quite often now this week with rows. But I think it's a really good investment, especially if you have freaking short arms, man. You have to solidify that shit. You know, it's just one of those things, man. It's you have to prioritize. This is like the bottom line of training is this. It doesn't really matter what you like, what you don't like. It's what are your leverages. Work out what your leverages are and where your freaking weakness is going to be. Like if you have short freaking arms, you're going to have to deal with certain things, you know. And if you mix it up with long legs, you're going to have a shit freaking deadlift from the floor. Most of the time. There are freaks out there, whatever, but most people that I see with really short arms and long legs, they have this like really slow off the floor pull. And so how do you maximize that portion? Because that's your sticking point. It's always going to be a sticking point. For me, like once I get past my knees, it's like whatever. Like I'm already there. I just wait. Just lock it out. So you have to kind of work that out. So upper back, obviously core as well. You need to get tight. Some of the best deadlifters don't have massive powerful lats. That's true, but I would probably argue with that. I mean, without having all of them in my mind right now, a lot of them have really great builds for it. I like really long arms. Just look at Caleb Woolen, man. You know, he can scratch his knee freaking standing there. He's standing there upright and he can scratch his knee with his hand. You know, he's got super freaking long arms. Mix that up with like sumo, you know, he's locking that thing out at the knee. Whereas I'm locking it out freaking at my crotch. You know, like the bar's like just on my balls, you know, like think about it, I've got a full femur length of more pulling. And it's not just the distance of pulling, but also like I'm in a shit position down there. I'm in a crap position. I'm all like curled up into a ball and I gotta get out of that. Well, some of these guys are like already pulling up with a freaking 45-degree back angle. You know, so, but I'm sure those guys will tell you at the same time, like, well, I'm not built for bench press, which is true. So it's like, if you got short arms, you better have a freaking good bench press, because what's your excuse for the bench press? You know, it's just, it is what it is. Like, you know, you can whinge about, like me, whinge about the deadlift, but what's happening with the bench press? Why isn't your bench press 160, 170? That's what I'm asking myself. Whatever, like I didn't care for it for a long time. And, you know, each lift has its own little, I don't know why I have a screwdriver here, but I do. Each lift has its own little puzzle to solve. Some of them are related with each other, others are not. Like, I mean, deadlifts and squats, the two lifts are related. Like, you know, I struggle in the same position in the deadlift as I do in the squat. Same sticking points, same kind of angles of knees and hips. Oh, PEDs, no PEDs. I'm loving the home gym right now, man. The plates are definitely the cornerstone. They are the main piece of the gym. Should have got them a long time ago. I'm loving it. You know, it's inspiring. It's weird, but how can a inanimate object inspire you? Well, they inspire me. It just gives it a old school feeling of iron. You know, I love it. I am still using the hip circle, but I'm not using it in training. So I've got the hip circle next to my bed. So just before I sleep, I'll put it on and I'll just pump out a whole bunch of like side glutes and hip flexor stuff before I sleep. It just relaxes my lower back, relaxes the anterior pelvic tilt. But yeah, I've got the heavy band. There's a medium heavy and an extra heavy band. I've got the heavy band. Do I have any pains? I've got right hip pain. I've had it for a long time. But that's a muscular thing for me. It's not a skeletal, it's not a joint problem. But I've kind of worked out 80% of it, how to work around it. I think as you go on, Bruce, man, like I think it becomes more and more about not so much about doing the meat and potatoes, but the other stuff becomes more important. Like somebody asked me yesterday, they were like, Ivan, why are you doing 5 reps with 60, 5 reps with 100, 5 reps with 140, 5 reps with 160, then finally 5 or 6 reps that I did yesterday with 180. Why are you having such a prolonged freaking warm-up with the 140, with the 100, with the 160? It's the warm-up. For me, if I have an extended warm-up like that, I'm going to be pain-free. Somebody else said to me that the warm-up as you go, as you age, as you get beyond 30, the warm-up becomes the damn workout. It's kind of like, it's like, man, I remember when I was 20, man, I would rock up to freaking basketball games and I'd like just put the shoes on in full game mode. Man, if I did that right now, dude, I would snap my shit. I would pop the Achilles, I would tear the hamstring. God knows what else I would be doing, man. Like, I need to have like a good warm-up. So what you guys don't see every day is I do heat abductions, I do some marching, and then I get to the bar. I think large part of my hip troubles over the years has been me being lazy. Just walk straight in, freaking 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and just put the bar on my back and do 10 reps, and then get 60 on, do 5 reps, 100 on, pull 1 rep, 120, 1 rep, 140, 1 rep, 160, 1 rep, 180, 1 rep, and go, and then get out of there. It's like, fuck, dude. What are we doing, man? There you go. So there you go. Squat RX is telling you it takes a freaking hour. But like if you listen to Matt Wenning as well, he talks about Wenning warm-ups, what he does. I don't know how long it takes, man, but he does a lot of freaking work before he even gets to the bar. So, prime those muscles. So you got to 200 kilos on the deadlift at 82 kilos. That's good, man. Well done on that. That's very, very good. I mean, there's many different things. Without knowing much else about you, there's multiple things that could be going on. Maybe you've reached the level for your body at 82. Maybe you need to add some size now. I'm not sure. That could be one thing. Another thing could be maybe your core is being taxed too much because of a problem somewhere else. Like I mentioned before, maybe you're rounding too much too early. Maybe your upper back is weak and that's why your core gets thrashed. So this is the thing that I kind of realized in training as well. What we often focus on is the last muscle group to fail, right? So you're deadlifting, and the last portion of the deadlift before you let the bar go, you're really rounded and you're like, shit, my lower back is weak, my core is weak, it's my core. And so then you focus on core smashing, core smashing, core smashing, core smashing. And then like you go back to heavy weights after a few weeks, after a few months, and then you still, boom, in that rounded over position, you're freaking copping it sweetly again in the core. And you're like, shit, I need to do more core. You do more core, you do more core, you come back again. Oh shit, same problem. Fuck, I'm stuck. So we always think the last muscle to fail is the problem. But rarely do we think, what is the first muscle that started this whole cascade of failure? What is the first thing that failed on me? If the shoulders start to buckle, what's going to happen? They're going to round. And then after them, it's going to be middle back. And then eventually gets to the lower back. So maybe it's your upper back, you know? How about you improve your roll? Get a PR, a couple of PRs on the roll, a couple of PRs on the pull-ups. And then you go back and you see, maybe it was something else failing and then the core was just copping it. That's kind of the position that I'm in right now. Like, I'm like, okay. I mean, somebody just said soccer. I just saw soccer there. It's like, okay, we conceded a goal. What happened there? Oh, shit, goalkeeper. Well, it was a one-on-one with the goalkeeper. So is it a goalkeeper? It's not. What happened with the centre backs? Where were the centre backs? Well, the centre backs were there in position, but it was a 3-on-2 at the time. So what happened there? Okay, so the midfield completely got overblown, and that they are responsible for the goal. It was a shit pass in midfield, which put the whole thing in a bad position. All of a sudden, it was a one-on-one against the goalkeeper and a goal. So it's like that lower back core thing that you talked about. It could be just the goalkeeper. You can't blame the goalkeeper when it's a one-on-one against the goalkeeper. The guy in midfield fucked up. Shit pass, and that screwed the whole thing up, and that's what led to the goal. It's not so much the goalkeeper didn't save it. No. This guy. So in the same way, I feel like, think of other structures in your body which could have put your core in a non-optimal position. That's something that I've kind of recently started thinking about. There's only so much abuse your core and your structure can take. Maybe strengthening other positions. Once again, I don't know much else about you, but maybe you got short arms. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. Yep. Root cause analysis, precisely. Yeah, it's this shit is really simple, lifting at a glance, but there's much more to it. You know? Oh, Lord. Oh, Kinsray, yeah, I mean, it would be hard to make a video to like summarize all of it. It would actually be hard for me to sit down and actually reflect on the journey and highlight the biggest blips on the radar, the biggest aha moments, the biggest I'm onto something moments. But yeah, there's definitely been a whole bunch of moments in all of the lifts where I've gone, shit, I've worked something out. oh my God, I've worked something out. And those moments are amazing, man, amazing. I would say that that's a lot of the reason why we train, those moments, man. Yeah, do you remember that, hitting 200 annual leave? Yeah, man. Yeah. So like that aha moment was the jumping. That was amazing. Yeah, Sam, I love it. Dregs, man, thank you, dude, appreciate it. Those aha moments, man. Oh, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. Like I remember when I first saw somebody do the kneeling deadlift, and I thought, shit, let me try that. So it's like a kneeling deadlift is like this. You just go, you just extend your back as you know. So it's like a hard contraction of the lower back before you go into the lift. It's like an activation thing. So it's like a glute contraction, and then you get to the bar and you start doing it. You're like, not only have I lifted this on my knees, and you get that confidence feeling. So then when you jump on your feet and you start pulling it, you're like, I can lift this. And just the mental aspect of it is just like, I remember like that was like a big thing for me. Like I remember that was an aha moment for me. It's like pinch squats. Put some stupid number on the bar and move it this much. And then you get to the squat and you're like, oh my God, this feels so light. That was amazing. Boys, let me go grab a drink. Thirsty, get out of this. I'll be back in a sec. Alright, I got some leftover watermelon. Check it out. Gonna cut this shit up. That's all I got left. Mmm. Mmm. Mm-hmm. Seedless. Yep, and it's straight out of the fridge as well, so it's like refreshing as. Mmm. Yeah, it's good. I reckon watermelon is my favorite. Is it a fruit or a vegetable, huh? Mmm. Last night before I went to bed, I had basically all of it until where I came. My belly was like this. I couldn't fit any more watermelon in. And I was so disappointed I couldn't finish it. Kept pushing. Couldn't do it. I thought I'll do it this morning. Here I am, finishing off the goods. During summer, man, watermelon, God, it's like the greatest thing. Steve-O! How you going, Steve-O? Steve-O's in the building. Yeah, pissing the bed from watermelon. Yeah, I actually woke up twice last night from eating this much watermelon. But yeah, as an adult, you have a bit more control. But damn, last night I ate so much watermelon, I was like, I might blow up. Like it was actually uncomfortable in my belly. But it feels good, right? Because, well, it's water. Of course, there's sugar in it, whatever. But it's a good. I might be wrong here, but it's a good thing to eat when you're not trying to consume too much crap, right? It's like a space occupying food, You haven't pooped in 3 weeks. Damn, man. You're gonna blow up. Man, I'm skinning this freaking watermelon. Watermelon, man, eats the shit. Now I gotta cut this shit up so I have more access to it. I got the worst freaking knife as well. I should have got the proper meaty one. Oh God, could have taken a better freaking knife, huh? Oh, Miz, thank you, dude. What was the question? What was the best way to fix flat feet? Um, I reckon, dude. My cameraman, his eldest son, 7-year-old, he's got really flat feet, and we talk about this quite often. But you know what I keep telling them is I think it starts at the hip, and the reason why I think that is because if you have really poor external rotators and really poor hip abductors, you're gonna be rolling in. So if you have really strong external rotators, your feet are gonna be like this. You're gonna want to turn out this way. If you have flat feet, that means you have internal rotation of the femur, like your femur is internally rotated. So you need to train the external rotation of the hip this way, externally rotate. So glutes, glute medius, maximus, minimus, all of that stuff, TFL, all of that side glute stuff. So like hip abductions, do a lot of hip abductions. That's what in lunges, unilateral stuff. That's what I keep telling my cameraman and his son. I'm like, and he's actually a really good like athlete. The kid is like, he can run quickly and all of that stuff. But as I keep saying to them, it's all well and good when you're 7 years old, but like when you're 12, 13, 14, 15, you have a massive chance of rupturing an ACL, rupturing the meniscus, like damaging all of that stuff, because the internal rotation of the hip will lead to flat feet, number one, and you also introduce knee valgus. And so when you're running, jumping, landing, that knee valgus is deadly for the knee structure. So you need lots and lots of external rotation at the hip, so to make sure the knee is safe. And then once you have femoral external rotation and strength there, then when you fall down and when you run and when you lunge, you're gonna have that strength to keep the weight on the outside of your foot and not allowed to go in. That, and then you can also have like local exercise like tibialis anterior, all of that stuff to like keep the arch strong. Those are kind of like the automatics anyway. But I think tibialis anterior cannot overpower the lack of strength of the hip. Like the hip, if the root problem is hip internal rotation, there's nothing the anterior tibialis can do to fight that. Yeah, squatting, you know, it depends how you squat, but if you're very, very quad dominant and your glutes are sleepy, and your outside glutes, your glute medius and minimus is really, really weak, then you're gonna suffer with that. I remember when I first started training, when I really started training, got my Ollie shoes, got the Romoleo 2s, started doing a whole bunch of stuff. I was still playing basketball socially, and I noticed my feet were getting flatter and flatter. And then so 2 years after I started squatting semi seriously, I rolled my ankle once in January, and then the following January I rolled it again on the other side. So 2 ankles rolled within a year of each other, and I had flat feet. I was squatting all the time in Romoleo 2s, which is one of the reasons why I went away from them as well, because my feet were so weak. Always sitting in Rom 2s, always full support. I just felt like my feet atrophied. My feet completely atrophied because it was just never being used. Like I'm not running in them, I'm not walking in them, it's just full support. So I went away from supported shoes in the attempt to strengthen my feet, to strengthen the intrinsic muscles of the feet, which, you know, claw. And yeah, that's what I would recommend to you, dude. So yeah, feet atrophy, man. If you think about it, like you probably, if you took your shoes right now and went for a run with bare feet on sand, you would have DOMs galore on your feet. Well, if you're always running in support, the muscles which naturally support these movements of the feet are going to atrophy because you're not using them. So it only makes sense, right? And I'm eating the shit out of this. I'm going down to the white. I've tried barefoot squatting a few times, but I think it's a bit too risky to spend time in the gym with bare feet, to be honest with you. Simply if you drop something, if you walk and you hit something, you're gonna damage your toes, you're gonna break toes and stuff. So I like to have something on my feet. This is why I like the Vivo bare feet. They give you some protection. I don't know how many times I've kicked something accidentally in the gym. Man, if I kicked the squat stand or the squat rack accidentally, that's agony, dude. Like, people break their toes all the time. Yeah, Yeezy shoes, basically bare feet, and you don't. What would I do if you donated 500? Well, I would say thank you. That would be great support. If you gave me that much money, you basically given me more than what I earn off of YouTube on a month. So that's how much that would be for me. You would literally give me more than what I earn on YouTube in a freaking month. It's a big YouTube channel. Why am I not in shape, although I'm strong? We've discussed this quite a lot over the journey that I've been on. Now, I think we all agreed upon there are some muscles of the body that make you look good. So shoulders, traps, chest. Like, look at me here, right? Imagine my shoulders were more pronounced. Automatically, my figure looks better, right? Automatically. Imagine if my chest had a better, more size, and my traps, all of a sudden it will look bigger. So I don't do those isolation exercises, and maybe that's why. Maybe that's why the aesthetics is not as good. And my trains. Oh God, shitty freaking out, buckle underneath. I want some damn watermelon, man. Don't have a knife. Doesn't YouTube take a cut of the donations? Yeah, I think they do. But if you're gonna give that much money to me, I'll probably just say to you, send it on PayPal. You know. I don't know, if when people donate on these live chats, if that goes all straight to me, or the YouTube takes half of it, or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what goes on. Well, I know the guys that support me on Patreon. Patreon takes 12%, I think. And mind you, shout out to all the Patreon guys, because those guys are they make a huge difference. So no matter what happens with the algorithm, no matter what happens with the YouTube, if people like the videos, if I make the videos that are appealing to a lot of people or whatever, Patreon support is always there. It's always there. The revenue always comes in. The guys are always behind me. And, Patreon only takes 12%. So this is why everyone says, if you're going to support somebody, Patreon is a great way, because it takes the pressure off, the stress off, right? And it allows you to kind of have security while you're making whatever you're making. I know a lot of people survive off Patreon alone. I know 12 months ago in January, I remember I was getting like $4 every 1,000 views. That was kind of the rate I was getting from videos. $4 every 1,000 views. And then all of a sudden it just dropped in January last year to like $1.50. So you can imagine, like, money's halved, more than halved. And around that time I was like, well, okay, in that case, then I picked up extra shift, and I've been on an extra shift since last January per week because of that. A lot of people complained about like YouTube going up and down, but it's a very volatile thing, you know. For people that have millions of subscribers and whatever, they don't give a shit. But small channels like mine, I feel sorry for people that are just like using YouTube as a primary income source, because I don't know, that would be a lot of anxiety. A lot of anxiety. What's the most money I've made in a single video? So my most popular video was that, I don't know if you guys have seen that video, learning from the Chinese. That's the title of the video. And that video is sitting at 1.1 million, I think. And that video was like 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, something like that. So for 1 million views, I get $3,000. I'm pretty sure that's what I got. I can go back into the analytics. Actually, here, I can pull this shit up right now. Yeah, let's do that. That would be freaking interesting, wouldn't it? All right. So, analytics. Content. How do I find this shit again? I'll show it to you, fellas. Do you guys want to see this? All right, so this is the analytics page. So this is me. This is like the, what do you call it? A YouTube studio, right? So overview. This is the views I get per month. This is the watch time. This is the subscribers. I lost 134 subscribers in the last 28 days. This is what I get. $484. Oh, you can't see that. Here we go. $484 is what I earn a month. And if I want to go content, and I go over here and I go, come on, why isn't this working? Lifetime. What the hell's wrong with my internet now? It shut itself. All right, now, if I go way down here, here we go. Learning from the Chinese, 1.2 million views. Let's click on that. There you go. Here we go. That's the figure. You see that? $3,800 is what I've earned from it in the last, I don't know when the thing was. Actually, let's go on it. This was the video. 2 years ago. Isn't there a date here somewhere usually? Everything looks so much different on desktop, man. I'm always on my phone. I never do any of this stuff. Oh, here we go. May 31, 2021. So there you go. Basically 3 years ago. So, and he continues to earn money. Right, you can see right here, real time. I'm getting 32 views every 48 hours, right? So 16 views every day, which is basically dead. The video is dead. When you get to this level, it's you know, It's shocking. So that's that video. That's $3,000 in the last 3 years, one video. And you can see, like, you know, you can appreciate that 1 million views on a video is like very, very hard to get. Very, very hard to get, right? Like, so if I go down here, the I'm pissed off video over here, 534,000 views. If we go into that one, how much money has that earned? $838, right? So that's you guys get to see what the background of a YouTuber. You can see that, you know, people don't make money. This is not what people think it is. You know, people think it's like you are set for life, and you know, it's not like that, man. It's far from it. I don't know what else I can show you. Oh yeah, here. Let's go in here. Anyway, I've completely missed everything you guys were saying in this period. Let me go back to see you guys. Oh, DV, thank you, man. Živeli, brate, your inspiration, man. Hard worker. Appreciate that, dude. Thank you for the support. Means a lot, man. But yeah, you know, I remember before I got monetized and whatever, and I used to think, oh my god, somebody with 100,000 views, oh my lord, these people are driving Ferraris around. And then what's this? And then you realize that it's not like that at all. You know, maybe years ago subscriberships meant something, but now you could have a million subby channel and not earning a lot of money at all because they don't get the viewership. The viewership is everything, man. Like, you know, if you're getting 1 million views per day, just imagine you're getting, at my rate, everyone's got different rates, you're getting $3,000 a day. That's crazy shit, right? Yeah, I'm pissed off. Got the second. Super interesting. Greetings from Brazil. Respect all day. Thank you. Oh, so how many subs did I get when it blew up? When that big one blew up? I reckon I had around 10,000 or 15,000 subscribers or something like that. Oh yeah, I mean, I could dig it up. I don't want to bore you guys too much, but that video by itself got me like 10,000 subscribers. You have to understand, like, 1 million people watching a video, that's a lot of freaking people, right? So out of 1 million people watching it, 10,000 clicked subscribe. So that video in itself, like, is like, you know, solely responsible for like huge, because this is the thing, like, when a video goes to 1 million views, yes, you got a view, but also you got exposure. And so a lot of these people will then click on other videos, and then there's like a carry-on effect of viewership and revenue that huge video will have on the channel, right? This is why people always go like crazy about, you know, algorithm, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, you know. The way I think about it is, I feel like I've had my spot in the limelight. I've had my spot, you know, in the algorithm's favor. And now it's kind of like I've gone to the wayside, and the people that are, like, out of 120,000 people, I have 3,000 people that watch every video that I put up every day. Not every day, like, so most people don't use YouTube every single day. But in a week, I get 3,000 every day watching. So I don't know, maybe there's like 10,000 people that are watching out of 100,000, so they're like 10% of the huge subscriber base that are there, you know. So there's just, yeah. Why is this being stupid? No. So when I say 1 million views, it's like 1 million views. So there's regulations about. So if I watch my video 100 times today, let's say, it only marks 1 view, right? So that people can't cheese it, right? I don't know what the timelines are, whatever, but the algorithms are very, very, very clever. Okay, so this IP address has already seen this video today. That's 1 view. So if you watch it tomorrow again, it will probably count another view, but I doubt a lot of people are going to watch the same video 10 times. Have you been watching Eric Bugenhagen? When he was doing his lives 2 months ago, I kind of watched it. I found it really interesting to watch that. But I haven't seen a video of him recently, I don't think. Yeah. Stefan, yeah, I mean, the casuals respond mostly to like highlights, PRs, you know, things that really, really stick out. But that's just the way it is, like anything. Even if you're like a rapper, right? Like, and you sold one album, you had an album where a song was a huge hit, and then the following album you release, it's not like that. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, so it's only when I have a huge hit that the album gets listened to. It's kind of like that. It's just normal, you know. People don't give a shit like that. Yeah, has Boogs ever talked about what he's using? Do you guys know? Has he ever talked about drugs at all? Yeah, I mean, what Sam Sulek is doing right now with his videos is crazy, man. These guys are, you know, he's making 20, 30, 40 grand a day, probably. The guy's doing really, really well. Good on him, man. Good on him. You know, for people that push their bodies to that extent at that young age and risking everything for it, you know, I'm happy for him. I'm happy, you know, he's getting the money, he's getting the recognition. Hopefully he's happy deep down inside. Hopefully he's happy because, you know, he's putting his health at risk. You know, a lot of us would never want to do that. You know, all the luck to him, you know. Hopefully it's worth it for him. In my perspective, the money, you know, it's not about the money, man. But, you know, if you're going down that path, I'd rather him see the success than not. I'm worried about him, to be honest with you, but each to their own, man. He won't be the first one or the last one to abuse drugs like that. I just hope he doesn't get into trouble. For me, to be honest with you, man, like, you know, you might think I'm jealous of the views or whatever. I'm not jealous of the views, man. Like, it's not even about that. For me, it's I just feel really, really sad that, I mean, I hate to say this, but I don't want him to be another 20-something-year-old, 30-something-year-old to die young. And, you know, a lot of people are like, if I don't say that, don't say that. Well, when are we going to say that? When are we going to have this conversation where it's like, how many guys, how many bodybuilders have we lost recently young? You know, to me, that's sad. You know, it's sad because these guys like Sam, he's got a huge responsibility now. A lot of kids are watching him. I would assume a vast majority of his viewership is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-olds. And so he's like a role model. And I think when you are a role model, there's a responsibility there with that. Especially when you're a role model to the youth that are seeking direction. You know, that's the weight that whether he wants it or not, that is the responsibility. With power comes responsibility, as they always say. So that's the little thing that I'm always like, yeah. Yeah, that's right, Big McGuire. He seems like a very, very nice guy. So it feels good that he's getting the success. It really, really feels good. But I just wish he just, like, if he just got off the drugs right now, he got the success, he got the recognition, he's got this channel, cool. Come off the drugs and just play the long game now. You've been discovered. Just get off the stuff and just, that's what I would want. Why do I think he's abusing gear? I think it's feasible he's running like 500 tests in some D-ball. Andrew, I'll be the first one to say I'm not an expert on this stuff, but he's huge. He's huge, and he's put on a lot of mass very, very quickly. And you can see features of his facial structure change. His face, just look at like 3 years ago, look at how he looked. His bone structure has changed. His face has changed. His skin is bad. There's a lot of things. I've seen some stuff, people that really know what they're talking about, talk about it. The information's out there. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I have experience, I have knowledge. I don't. But he looks very, very different. Dude, I've been training for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, right? Have I changed? Has my facial structure changed? So he's aged very, very, very quickly. He looks older than me, dude. Like, he looks older than me, and he's how old is he? 23, 22? I'm 35. So if you're accelerating aging to that extent, externally, just think about what's happening internally. And a lot of people don't give a shit about that, but I wish you were a nurse and you were in ICU with me and then you were in emergency with you would have a completely different perspective to this stuff. But you don't have the experience as I do. You don't have the respect for health as I do. And like I say to people close to my life, everyone becomes a believer when you get a diagnosis of, yeah, you're screwed. Everyone becomes a believer all of a sudden. Yep, okay, no worries, I'll change everything. So you need a near-death experience for you to clean up your ways. The thing with me is that I live this shit every single day. I see people have heart attacks, die, I put people in body bags. So I kind of have a different perspective to life. And I speak to people that are on their deathbeds. And the messaging from many, many people that I've heard is that all of this shit that we talk about and we I'll show you an analytics page. All of that shit is just nonsense. No one gives a shit how big your bank account is. Nobody cares what you drive. Nobody cares. It's the relationships you build. That's what I think. But anyway, whatever. I wish all the best to him. I wish him health. I wish he doesn't get scarred long-term, irreversibly from what he's doing right now. But I'm very, very happy that he's got the support from the community and he's got lots of kids watching him and he's making 50 grand a day. I'm really, really happy for him. Yeah, so somebody said, you look 25, bro. There's a whole community out there that's into like longevity and staying younger longer. I guess if you wanted to age yourself purely aesthetically as fast as possible, you use drugs, you use PEDs, right? So somebody that's using PEDs is making themselves appear older. It only makes sense that your internals are also aging quicker. They just keep it as simple as that. Let's say that steroids are not bad for your heart, liver, lungs, all that stuff. Let's just say they just purely accelerate your aging. Do you want to accelerate your journey to the grave quicker? If you do, I mean, that's nothing wrong. Like, people do all sorts of things, whatever. It's just, dang, man, like, you are shortening your life because you're accelerating your aging. Is it worth it? That's a question for you. That's an internal dialogue. Yeah, and that's another thing. Somebody said that he's out of breath talking. Yeah, like I'm sitting here, I've watched a bunch of his videos, especially like a few months ago when he blew up. I'm sitting there, I'm like, why is he so short of breath? And he's like, oh shit, that's right. Yeah. So think about it, like if just think about it from a medical point of view. If somebody is short of breath at rest, what is going on? So why do we accelerate our breathing? Why does the body increase its respiration rate? What's going on there? So a few things you can say. The oxygenation is really, really poor. So every breath you take in, your lungs send that, exchange the gases in your lungs at the alveoli level, right? And then the body runs that around the system. So if you are breathing quicker, that means you are needing more oxygen to run the system. But what if your system is at rest? Your system is at rest and you need to breathe hard. So what's going on there? So you have a huge demand for oxygen sitting here. Okay, so what if, let's say that you are breathing efficiently, but the pump is not very good, the heart. The pump is not very good. It has maybe left ventricular failure. The main ventricle of the heart is not pumping as well as it should. CCF, cardiac failure. What if it's got a bit of heart failure? What does that look like? You can have right-sided heart failure, you can have left-sided failure. If you had a little bit of left ventricular failure, what does that look like? Well, people come in often to emergency with APO, acute pulmonary edema. Edema, isn't that water? Yeah, what's water doing in the lungs? The left ventricle is not pumping really, really well, and the water is pooling. The water pools between the lung, the oxygen, the alveoli, and the bloodstream, the capillary. So there's water in between these two, and the oxygen exchange from the alveoli to the capillary network is impaired because the distance between the alveoli and the capillary is now larger because there's water sitting there, acute pulmonary edema. So then he has to work really, really hard because the oxygen exchange is a really strained. So maybe the PEDs that he's taking is making his left ventricle fail because it's engorged, it's large. And the larger the heart, the poorer it pumps. So he's got a larger heart, it's pumping poorer, water is pooling in the form of APO, he can't exchange, and he's sitting there talking to us in the video going, Interesting. Now, people will go on here, the so-called experts of YouTube community, they'll go on here and they'll say, it's perfectly fine to be on tren, perfectly fine to be on testosterone, perfectly fine to do this, that, the other. Look at the guy. He can't finish a sentence without puffing. Something is wrong there. Something is wrong there if a 23-year-old man is short of breath speaking to a camera. I've been speaking for the last how long? How long is this video going? 110 minutes, and do you see me puffed out? I mean, that's a really good sign that I have a functioning heart. We're not talking about running a freaking triathlon here. We're talking about sitting in a chair and breathing. And he's struggling. So, once again, I say, all the best to him. I truly, truly want the best for him. But I'm worried about him. I'm worried about him because I have some experience in healthcare. And what I've seen, I don't know what his blood markers are, and I don't know what his cardiac function is, and I don't know what his ECG will show. I don't know any of these things, but from a triage perspective, so I spent a lot of time sitting at triage and triaging patients from category 1 to 5. That to me is a concerning patient. That is not somebody that is doing well. Now, business-wise, he's doing excellent. He's making lots of money. He's got lots of fame. That's all well and good. All I'm saying is, I hope you like the trade you're making. I really, really hope you're making a good trade for you. Everyone's got different perspectives and different goals in life. But I hope it's a good business return. A little bit of health for a lot of money. Hopefully, I mean, some of you guys might agree that that's a good idea. It's a philosophical discussion for another day, but each to their own. Good morning, big guy. Does he use a CPAP machine? Wow. So let's talk about CPAP and BiPAP. I don't know whether you guys understand what a CPAP does, right? So I spoke about left ventricular failure, and I spoke about acute pulmonary edema and the water pooling that happens between the alveoli and the capillary in the lungs. So what does a CPAP do? Okay, so what does CPAP stand for? I'm going to give you a bit of a medical rundown or nursing in service. So CPAP stands for continuous positive airway pressure. Continuous positive airway pressure. Continuous positive airway pressure. Essentially, imagine you're driving a car and you stick your head out of the window of the car and you get that wind hitting your face. It's very, very hard to breathe, right? But what that does, it provides positive pressure through your airways when you breathe. So it's a mask that goes over your mouth and you breathe, but there's acceleration of those particles rushing into your lung, and there's a positive pressure that's pushing. Now, the reason why we use a BiPAP or a CPAP, two different modes in positive airway pressure machines, is that what we try to do is we try to push that water in between the alveoli and the capillary networks. We try to push that water out because there's so much pressure now through the system, it pushes the water out. So when somebody comes in with acute APO, acute pulmonary edema, what we're talking about, this fluid, is it pushes all that water out and it makes that oxygen exchange between the alveoli and the capillary network work better because the distances are smaller. There's no water in the system now. So you push all that stuff out, all of a sudden you're not short of breath anymore because the blood is getting oxygenated more with the oxygen, right? Carbon dioxide is able to leave easier, oxygen is about to come in together, so the oxygen exchange is excellent. So the reason why CPAP is fantastic is because you go to sleep. A little step back. When you go to sleep and you lie down flat, people with CCF, congestive cardiac failure, or what I just said to you, the fluid accumulates. When you lie flat, the fluid pools easier or more when you're laying down. So people get really, really short of breath when they lay down, the people that have CCF. If you have a little bit of cardiac failure, you're going to have a little bit of struggle lying down. So this is why people, when they lay down to go to sleep, they're short of breath. They need 1 pillow, 2 pillow, 3 pillow, 4. That's actually a question that we ask in ED all the time. How many pillows do you use to sleep? The oldies will say 2, 3, 4, 5. And the more pillows they use, the more you know they are having, that's a clinical sign of cardiac failure. So you put on a CPAP on them, you can lie them flat, and there's pressure now to push that fluid away, right? Because gravity, right? When you're sitting upright, water drops down. When you lay flat, the water will fill up into the lungs. So if you're using a CPAP machine because you have cardiac failure, that's a bad sign of 23. Also, CPAP is used for sleep apnea, which is an upper airway obstruction, causing people to have apneic episodes throughout the night. Apneic means no breathing episodes throughout the night. So, you know, it can be an upper airway issue, it can be a lower airway issue, but CPAP is used for both. So if you're using a CPAP machine, yeah, somebody said, so CPAP actually is early cardiac failure. It could be, but it also could be an upper respiratory problem, like a sleep apnea, like you have a fat neck. Your neck is fat, and you, let's say it's not this, but you swallow your tongue. You're snoring, right? You're not swallowing anything, but you're just occluding your airway. So a CPAP machine will make those airway more resistant to fall over and obstruct. So the bigger, more weight you have, the more sleep apnea you're gonna have, and the more chance you have of cardiac failure because your heart simply cannot pump strong enough for the body habitus that you have. So that's what goes on. So when all these bodybuilders say like, oh, you know, I went from 100 kilos to 150 kilos and whatever, with that 50 kilo increase, you can book it that they have poorer sleep at a bigger body weights. It's just, that's a fact. The larger the human being, the poorer the sleep is, because they have to lie flat to sleep. And when you lie flat to sleep, all of that belly and all that shit is all up in your, and it's pressurizing the lungs, and it's making it hard for the heart to pump, the lungs to expand and all that stuff. So generally speaking, a lighter person is going to be a healthier person no matter how you split it. It's just the way it is. Larger people don't live long. As much as the cancel culture today and the acceptance culture of all these people that are like 200 kilos and they're saying how they're still healthy because the GP said that they were healthy and we need to accept obesity. All of that is a lie. A lot of these people have no understanding of basic medical function. A person that is obese is very poor of health. Speaking about neck training, right? So I'll tell you something. When we need to intubate somebody or put somebody in an induced coma, we put a tube down their mouth into the trachea. And it's a tube that we connect to the ventilator, and we control the breathing while we paralyze you and sedate you, right? That's called an induced coma. There's many reasons why we do that, but that's one of the things that we do. So if somebody is critically unwell, we will paralyze them. We will first sedate them, then we'll paralyze them, and then we intubate them, and then we'll ventilate them. So we completely take full control of ventilation of the body. So we maximize that while minimizing all the other crap that's happening in the body. So when an airway doctor goes in, a consultant or registrar goes in to intubate, they will often have a look and they will be like, okay, what grade of airway is this? So a grade 1 airway is when they can easily see the glottis, the epiglottis, and like they can easily see a clear path to intubate, right? A grade 2 and then 3 and then 4 is a more and more restrictive airway. So if the doc has a quick look and says, okay, this is a grade 4 airway, then we need to have like extra things in place. Sometimes we call the ENT guys, the anesthetics doctors, we have like more specialties around, because the grade 4 airway is very, very hard to intubate. Now, why is that a big thing? Well, when you paralyze somebody, we need to sedate and then paralyze somebody to even have a look. When we've paralyzed somebody, they have stopped breathing. They're not breathing on their own anymore. So we have like a very, very short window of actually putting the tube in. If we don't put the tube in, we are now have a dead person, essentially. They're not breathing for themselves. So it makes it very, very difficult for us to manage the patient. So if somebody has a grade 4 airway, then we make sure we have all of the supports, all of the adjuncts, all of the accessory airway stuff in place, just in case we can't get this tube in. So if somebody has a thick, fat, short neck, you can book it that they're not going to be an easy intubation. So there's just like a easy overview of how big people with fat necks and poor body makeup, how it's just bad for them on every level. So it's not good to be big, basically. Man, I feel like I've talked a lot. I don't know if any of that made sense to you guys. What's the BiPAP? So BiPAP is like CPAP, but instead of continuous pressure, there's like 2 levels of pressure. So usually you would run, let's say, like 5 centimeters of water pressure in a CPAP machine. A BiPAP machine will allow you to separate the pressures. So you have an intrinsic positive airway pressure. So you have IPAP and then EPAP. That's what bi means. You have 2 levels. So when you breathe in, the machine will deliver, let's say, 12 centimeters of water, and when you breathe out, it will deliver 6 centimeters of water pressure. So it's like much bigger pressure when you breathe in, so it hits you hard, and then when you're trying to breathe out, it reduces that pressure. So it's nice. A lot of doctors order BiPAP more so than CPAP because it works with the patient. A CPAP is just constantly gushing air into you, constantly, always the same, just constantly blowing you, kind of like if you're sticking your head out of a car window. It's always the same. A BiPAP machine will sense when you're breathing in and when you're breathing out, and it will drop or increase the pressure accordingly. So IPAP and EPAP, intrinsic, inspiratory and expiratory pressure. That's what it means. So it's like a 2 setting. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. All right, boys, I'm gonna wrap it out here. Can't believe I've been on here for 2 hours. I came to sit down and eat, and the next minute I know I've been here for 2 hours. It was fun though. I actually quite enjoy this. Quite enjoy this. So any chance I get, I'm gonna jump on here and spend some time with you. I feel like it's positive. I think it's just like a really cool way to. I'm gonna go train now, destitute. It's like a great way to communicate, much better than the comments and all that stuff. I feel like we understand each other a little better. Thank you, Miz, for being a moderator. Thank you guys for sticking around. There's been like 60 of you basically the whole way through, and yeah, I might do it tomorrow as well, depending on how everything goes. All right, guys, much appreciated. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.